Hello and welcome to another episode of Sanity Killer Projects. In this episode we're going to be talking about some of the upcoming videos that we're going to be doing and some of the changes that we're making to the channel. So one of the major changes is this. I've never been in any of the videos in the last 4.5 years and about 250 videos. I've never put my face in the videos. So the question is, why after all these years of making videos did I not want to show my face in the videos that I'm making? Well, the reason is simple. I make these videos to help people with projects on their cars. I don't make these videos because I'm seeking fame in any way, shape, or form. The other reason is I value privacy highly, which on the internet is not really something that's easily given, especially when people know what you look like. They start looking for you and trying to find out who you are and where you are, which is weird and creepy. So why now am I putting myself in front of the camera? Well, the reason's pretty simple. We've got about 225 videos up at the moment, I believe. And when it comes down to it, people don't want to come back because they don't remember the channel for any reason whatsoever. So I'm putting my face in front of the camera to give recognition to the channel and make it easier for people to see what we're putting out and that it's coming from us, which that makes me the dynamic character that ends up pushing the value of the channel up. Then that's what it's going to be. So since you stuck around for all that intro, I'm going to tell you right now, somewhere down there is a button that says subscribe. Hit that button because it's really important to us that you are subscribed to the channel because we have lots of projects and I'm going to show you all the new stuff that we're going to be working on right now. So this is a project that got put on the back burner. This is a rock hard roll cage for the Jeep Cherokee XJ that we have. It got put on the back burner because of the fact that we were going to use this because we were planning on jumping the XJ across our property. When it came down to it, we realized that we needed a slip yoke eliminator, new drive shaft, and a bunch of other safety gear which we don't have. So even though we were going to do that to try and capture some views, it's not really a thing that's feasible to do right at this moment. So because of that, it's a back burner project. All right, so at the moment we don't have anything going on the tractor, but since we've had downtime, I was doing oil changes and stuff on it, which is why it's inside of the garage. So let's go talk about these two cars that have been nothing but a pain. All right, so once upon a time, it was looking like my union was gonna end up going out on strike with another union at my work. Because of that, we ended up getting a bunch of late model cars that we didn't necessarily want. We ended up putting a lot of money, time, and effort into this car in particular. The problem with this car is it had a blown out catalytic converter and we ended up having to replace the catalytic converters. By doing that, it absolutely destroyed the value of being able to sell this thing. And then after the fact that we replaced the catalytic converters in it, we were out trying to get it to pass all of its pre-smog checks that the computer systems need to allow it to reset and run through a smog. And it blew out the ECU and now it does all sorts of things. Because of that, Bill and I, who's my partner on this car, are annoyed with it and haven't touched this car in months. It does run and drive, but it runs really bad and every code in the world pops up on it because the ECU is probably bad. So we also got this car, which is a 2014 Chevy Spark. This car doesn't really have all that much wrong with it. It needs a new transmission or it needs a transmission control unit. We never actually determined which of those it was gonna need to get it back up and running. This car actually does run and drive and it probably would pass smog because it's only a 2014. But after we lost a whole bunch of money on this car, my partner Bill decided that it wasn't gonna be a good idea to spend any money on this car. So I put this car up for sale for a reasonable price and everybody just wanted to lowball us on the car. And we decided it wasn't worth the time and effort. So this car is now gonna be our experiment car and we're gonna do all sorts of crazy projects on it. I don't really wanna get into too many of the details of it, but one thing for sure, we're gonna put some off-road tires on it and have them sticking outside the wheel wells. It's gonna look really stupid when we're done. The one thing that I think is absolutely the best part of this car is once everything is said and done, we're gonna rip all the things that have fluids inside of it out and we're just gonna completely destroy it live on air because we wanna do things that are gonna bring in people to watch our content, and I feel this is one of those things that's definitely gonna do it. We're gonna do all sorts of stupid things to the car live once we get to that point, but I gotta run a couple of lives just to test it out, have conversations with people, see which format works better, whether it's on the phone or on a laptop. But this car, by the time we're done, it's going to be about the size of a beer can. So just to prove that this Chevy Spark is a running, driving car, there we go, running and driving it around the property, runs and drives, and nobody wanted to pay our price for this thing, so we're gonna experiment on this car now. So the XJ, this is my baby. I love playing with this car. This is my off-road toy. I want to keep making more content on it, but I'm getting to the point where everything on it is very expensive, and the channel doesn't make the kind of money that's needed to actually make this car into what I want it to be. So until that point, we'll put the roll cage into it, but it's kind of gonna end up being a back burner project. All right, so these two cars are what are left of the flipper scrap cars, and also part of the reason why we got those other cars was to get funding so that we'd be able to put some money into these and make them run. The Ford right here needs the engine rebuilt, and the GMC needs just about everything. The GMC, we're hoping once it's done, will be a beautiful car, and the Ford we're going to leave pretty much like this, but we're going to fix the engine, transmission, get it back up and running and roadworthy, and put it back on the road. It's been a plan for a little while, but we got these cars also because of the fact there was a possibility that we were going on strike. So this hopefully are the next projects to be going into the garage and getting worked on, specifically this Ford F-250. Which brings me to the 1953 Chevy 3100 that is sitting on the trailer in the back. I bought a really nice cover for it, and the wind and the heat out in the desert where I live have absolutely destroyed it. So this car is going to go back into the garage to get stripped down and sent in for powder coating pretty soon. Got to make some space, and then that'll be one of the next projects that we get working on, because of the fact that I don't really want this thing to just sit out here and rot during the winter time. So this one will end up going in and getting powder coated fairly soon. Okay, so these are pretty much never projects. I bought this Grand Wagoneer a long time ago, probably well over 10 years ago. It actually used to run. We used to drag the weeds off of the field with this car, but since it's just been sitting here rotting, I would love to be able to get this thing back up and running and get it into roadworthy shape, but it is so far on the back burner, it's going to be probably years before we ever touch this. The car in the back is a race car that was owned by Bill. It's now owned by me, and it is literally just rotting into the sand. I'd love to be able to get that up and running, maybe even race it someday, but when it comes down to it, channel just doesn't really do good enough. We need to be able to get subscribers, we need viewers, we need people to actually show more interest in the channel than what we have. Granted, the channel has been growing pretty rapidly, but when it comes down to it, the amount of subscribers that I have, the amount of views I get per month are not enough to afford anything. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because that's what actually gets us to where we can work on these things. So a handful of years ago, I did a video that I called like Around the Ranch or something like that, and I think I've taken it down since, but at that time we showed off some of our animals, which these are our goats over here hiding inside of their barn, and these are our chickens. They are really noisy, but they drop a lot of eggs. They're just all pets. We have a pretty big ranch property, so we have a lot of animals. All right, so with the flipper scrap cars, we also got a bunch of lawnmowers, which I've slowly been working on and selling off just to make some extra cash. There's one in the garage right now that's a Sensations commercial lawnmower. That company actually went out of business in 1980. That one right there is a beat up version of that Sensations lawnmower. That mower is basically garbage, but I'll end up selling it with the really nice one that's in the garage. That red one right there is one that I have that's up for sale at the moment, but when it comes down to it, like, people are interested in not because they're lawnmowers. They don't really take interest in them until the fact that you can't get gasoline lawnmowers anymore, which isn't for another 5 to 10 years in the state that I live in. So it's up on the market. People show interest, and of course that guy right there is Gunner. Everybody loves Gunner. I get lots of requests for people to see him and have videos of him. Gunny, do you want to talk on the video? You did? Okay. All right, so then over in the corner is all sorts of yard junk and our body parts for the 53 Chevy 3100, which will eventually get unburied when we pull the frame back into the garage after it's been powder coated. Also, in addition to all the things that we're doing with our videos coming up, I'm going to be hiding this in all of our long format videos. Why this? Because this is a wooden egg. We use that for our chickens to help inspire them to find an area to drop their eggs. This one has a black dot on it. We do that so that we can easily spot the wooden egg versus the real eggs. Those are all real eggs. This is a fake one. We're gonna hide this in the videos somewhere. There's no prize for finding it, just the glory of figuring out where it's at. So that's gonna do it for this video. Be on the lookout for all of our videos coming out in the next year or so. I'd love to see our channel get to 10,000 subscribers before we hit our 5th anniversary in May of next year. Can't do that without you, so make sure to hit the subscribe button somewhere down there at the bottom. And as always, thank you for watching. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll keep making more content.